Yes, are we in? I think we're in. I think we're on. I think we're over. Can't be certain. Nothing's for sure in this world. Are we in? Are we on? Are we over? I'm going to have to check it somehow. I think we're in. Yeah, I think we're in. Is it on the traditional? I do not know. We have this every time, don't we, boys? Every time we have this. We have this bit of lag. Nobody do it how we does it. You'll just have to, if you are watching this after the fact, you'll just have to skip to the moment. I feel like Farkey in his. We have this every time, don't we, boys? I feel like Farkey in his interviews. Yes, yo, though. We are working, bro. We've got a PG, not a PG tips. We've got a Tetley's in and on and over here. You know what time it is. There ain't nobody down round here. We're going to move back to get his greatness in. Get that Badger in and on and over here. I've got absolutely no problem with bringing him in and on and over here more than once. We'll see how we roll with that. He's in, he's on, he's over, he's here. I've got a couple of quick shout-outs to do. Joe Depp, you might as well get the first shout-out. How's it going? Hello. Ming59, you have also commented just now, but I was going to give you a shout-out anyway, so shout out to Ming59 and shout out to TC Lee, who both signed up the other day, which is much appreciated. So shout out to Ming59 and shout out to TC Lee. Peacock Whites of LUFC, big up Jack lad. Yes sir, big up my man. I don't know what your name is, but I'll just call you Peacock White for now. I've not just been watching, just going to talk briefly about tomorrow night and Farky Fuckers, what he said. It was interesting in his post-match against Norwich, which we will break down if anybody has any interest in hearing that being broke down in any which way. Get any questions in, we will get some communications going. This is a free fire idea zone. This is a place where we can chat amongst each other. I'm going to try and yes, Robbo, nice to meet you. Well, I've met you before, but you know what I mean. Well, I haven't met you, but you know what I mean. Nice to be with you in these moments of great solitude. I'm going to try and do this every Thursday about 7:30. Thursday's quite a good day for me, so because I don't go live enough and everybody seems to whinge about it. So I will be going live most away games for the watch-alongs, and I will be going live about 7:30 on a Thursday. I'm going to try and get guests on. I'm going to try and get some Leeds fans on, maybe some of you guys that want to jump on with me, but I need to get the relevant streaming facilities to do that because I just use what's called OBS, but we don't need to talk about that because that's not why we're here. So quick shit long live vid. In the post-match yesterday, 2 days ago, Farky Fucker said that it was good under the circumstances, which freaked me out ever so slightly because obviously under the circumstances is not necessarily don't bode us very well for tomorrow, does it? So obviously Sunderland are in good form, obviously top at league. They've had 8 games, 6 wins, 2 losses. Interesting because obviously Pervader's gone there, that Helder's gone there. We've offloaded a few, but Pervader will not, so he would have been back, but he is not. Andrew Thompson, the Badger, is in, he's on, he's over. We'll bring him back in if there's enough rally calls for him. We'll get rid of him, bring him back in, bring him back over. Yeah, Pervader would have been back, but it turns out he's injured. And then, as in terms of Helder, everybody were banging on about him last year that he'd gone to Sunderland and done quite a good job. Well, Helder hasn't played a minute yet in the league for them. So, maybe Facker and everybody before him were right. I actually liked Helder. I thought it was decent, and I thought when we were struggling for a left-back a little bit and Firpo were a bit hit and miss, even though Firpo's now the absolute man, the absolute warlord, the assist machine. I thought he were quite good. I thought he were pretty solid and stable. When we had some frailties, not particularly under Farker, but just in general at the back. I thought he were a good shout. But we've moved him on, and now he can't get inside. There's talks that he's going to leave and all sorts of stuff. They've got that guy's brother, haven't they? That Who's that guy? What's he called? Oh, Bellingham. Yeah, they've got that Bellingham guy that does Maiden. Yeah, they've got his brother. He scored a banger, to be fair, other day. I don't know if anybody's seen that, but it's a right goal. Hey up, Marcus. Evening, sir. How's it going? Yeah, he scored a mint goal. I think it'd be a good game tomorrow, but as I say, with Farke saying under the circumstances, you know, games have been coming in thick and fast. 3 games in 6 days. Has Farke will not drop that. He will not let that go. We're talking about Charlie Crew in the interview for the game tomorrow. It was saying that it's not really a fair. People are comparing him to Archie Gray, and it's not really a fair comparison. Which is what I've said before, really, about the young lads. I really feel for them in general, really. You know, they don't get much of an opportunity to play at this level, or it's particularly when we're pushing for promotion and there's a lot of pressure on Farke. Is he going to start bringing in young lads when, you know, it's a big step up, which Farke did say in his interview, from the youth system to professional like man football. He says it's literally like a different sport. He said he's a humble, good guy and all this stuff, like I'm sure they all are, you know. I'm sure he's very respectful and what have you, but it's a big step up, isn't it? Of that, there's no doubt. I'd love it if we beat them. I'd love it if he, you know, brought a few lads in. You know, like Joffy and stuff. I don't mind any of it, but I understand that they're not going to get in and or outside, really. You know, Geldart's going to be lucky to get any minutes, any moments in matches. Schmidt, he might be back apparently, so he's possible. So I think they're going to look at that. Be interesting as well, because obviously the Schmidt were out injured the other day, and everybody were like, "Where's Schmidt?" Like, well, he's injured, boys, but you know, it is what it is. Marcus, we're screwed in midfield now. Yeah, well, we will talk about the midfield. I'm getting phone calls. We'll talk about midfield. Obviously, it's going to be Rothwell and Tanaka, isn't it? Which initially, in that first half, because obviously Rothwell was brought on quite early on because of Gruev's injury, which we're still not too sure about. We're waiting for a scan back. He said apparently it did feel better yesterday. He said that in the interview, that it felt better. Not physically, Gruev, but Farke said that it felt better. But obviously he's going to be out certainly for Friday, and if not, you know, I think it's definitely going to be in the region of weeks, isn't it? You know, it doesn't sound good. So it is going to be Rothwell and Tanaka. I actually felt as though, I think the game just died a bit though on Tuesday, so, you know, in terms of towards the end of the game, they sort of got a bit more of a hold on it. Rothwell gets a lot of stick. I think he's a decent enough centre midfielder. That's kind of what I'm saying about Crew. Like, Rothwell's decent. Is Crew better than Rothwell right now? I wouldn't have thought so. Rothwell had an interview after the game, to be fair, and he said he's had to be patient for his chance, which is not really the case, is it? You know, lol. You know, because he's come on because of injuries. But he did say that, to be fair. He did say, I know it's due to injuries, and, you know, it's not really the way he wants to get in. But, you know, apparently a bit of a set-piece king, and we've had, you know, we could do with scoring from a corner as we've all agreed. The unambiguous will beat Sunderland, get all excited for 2 weeks, and suffer back-to-back defeats against Sheffield and Watford after international break. Typical. Brutal stuff, big man. Marcus, right, this is news to me. My researchers have come in here. So Gruev's out for months, yeah. So Adam Pope's tweeted that out. He requires surgery. Cheers, Marcus. Andrew Thompson confirming that Gruev having surgery, right? Yeah. Farke was asked if he'd bring Giabi back and stuff, because obviously he's gone out on loan and stuff, but I don't, you know, he sort of shut that down. I don't think he's any interest in doing that. That is bad, terrible. So it's Rothwell and Tanaka, and we need to pray that they both stay fit. I think Rothwell's a decent enough centre midfielder, truth be told. I just think him and Tanaka are probably similar. They want to play a similar role, like who really sits. Yes, Tudor Rose, all Leeds that way, yes. My man. Yeah, but yeah, it'd be interesting. Rothwell's good at set pieces and stuff, isn't he, allegedly? Marcus, it's bloody hard being a Leeds fan. It certainly is. It all comes when it rains, it pours, doesn't it? Solomon's obviously out. Is that going to be a feature going forward? We knew we were going to be always injury prone and what have you, so, you know, it's done. He wouldn't be at Leeds in truth, would he, unless he was injury prone. I don't know how to put a poll on here. If I did, I'd put a poll on, and a poll, or do you call them polls, or a poll? Oh, is this how you do it? Engage, start a poll. Here we go. Meslier at fault for pen? Question mark. Yes or no? Start poll. That was exciting. New to me. I can end the poll as well, so if it's not going the way that I want it to, it's already 100% yes, which is brilliant. 75% yes. Somebody's come in with the no. Much appreciated. I think the penalty. Joe's been sending me images of it. He plants his feet at the wrong time, to be fair, but the guy strikes it pretty well. I think it's hard to save a penalty anyway. Meslier's record at saving penalties is terrible. I think he's saved one in like 20 or something, so he's not particularly, but I mean, he's definitely a shot stopper. It is a weird statistic, but I'd be interested to see other keepers' statistics, really, other than Martinez, who always seems to score always seems to save penalties. It doesn't seem to score goals enough. Martinez from Aston Villa, who's always turning up in penalty shootouts. It's a difficult thing, but we're watching it as like reactory as well, aren't we? So the bloke's pinging it in, and then we're watching it back, and you're watching what you've just seen. Whereas obviously Meslier sounds as he's seen it for the very first time. So yeah. I also want to touch on. What do you think Piroe? Right. So do you think Piroe will put up with this, like coming off at bench? Even though I know he didn't score at the weekend, but he's come off at bench and scored pretty much every time. He's banging the goals in. He must be close to being our top goal scorer, if not the top goal scorer. How long do you reckon he'll put up with that before he starts to whinge about not getting a start? I truly, we're talking about that with my brother, and it is interesting though, isn't it? Judah Rose, I'm going to do a live stream with you and take this stream to a weird stratosphere. That sounds pretty good to me, chickers. Sounds good to me. Joe Depp, it was a bloody penalty. They're normally going, exactly. That's kind of my point. So, he does plant his feet just as the lad's striking it, which he shouldn't really do. But, there's momentum. It looks like he thinks it's going straight down centre, to be fair. Obviously, that's not particularly good. But Norwich, I think, unbeaten now at home in 20 games. They're obviously unbeaten at home this season, without a doubt, if they're 20 games in with it unbeaten. I'd more likely to blame RODON for the penalty. I thought terrible defending rather than Meslier. I went over at ref yesterday on thingy. I'm sick of whinging about ref. Gruev, terrible. It's not good. Injury. Bogle, I thought, performed a little bit better than he has been doing. He may be coming into it a little bit. He seemed unfit to me, did Bogle, like in general. It just seemed like he was just slightly off the pace, like we were sort of waiting every time Nonto goes forward, he wasn't quite up with it, up and at it. But a mint finish from Ramazzini, whatever you call him. Mint turn from Nonto. Slid him through. Willie slid him through, and then Ramazzani rammed it home. Andrew Thompson, 2 players told him it was going down the centre. Well, it's interesting you should say that, big man. So, because Joseph came over, didn't he? Started giving it the big one, and he were talking to him, and I just thought, just stay out way with this. Do you know what I mean? Just let him make his own decision with it. I never, unless you're like, I don't know, unless you're in with it, like, when a lot of it happens in international games, doesn't it? When, like, I don't know, it'd be Argentina versus whoever, and Messi's played with him, and he knows his favourite side, whatever, and he points, and then they go that way. I get it to some extent, but surely before the game, which, well, I know for a fact that the goalkeeping coaches go over with the keeper themselves. They do all the stats. They know who the penalty takers are. I mean, Martinez has it wrote on his bottle, doesn't he? Which is a bit ludicrous, and he knows where they're sort of gonna go. So I don't know. I just think stay out of way. Andrew Thompson, Aronson had a word as well. Yeah, I saw Aronson go over. But again, just stay out of way. Andy Roy, in hindsight, Meslier could have put a foot out, but not his fault. I agree. That's the only way he saves the penalty, because the lad does strike it quite hard, and everybody keeps saying, it's really close to him. But that's hard to save when it's close to you. It's not like, if he makes the wrong move, unless he does just open his body up and go with left foot and just tries to get a block on it, which is obviously the best thing to do. Andy Rowe, is Bob Hope a woman? Bob Hope is a woman, Andy, yeah. It was quite the revelation. It was a sensational moment. It was extremely funny, a bit baffling, definitely confusing, and slightly worrying initially, I would say. I thought it was a stitch-up. Tudor Rose, a.k.a. Chickers, Ramazzani looking the man to me. Just need Lord Bamford supporting Tudor Rose is in here to kick up a storm with the Bamford talk. Get me going on Bamford. Leave me out of it. Leave me out of it. I don't need it. I don't need the Bamford shit in my head. I don't need it. But yeah, it'd be good to keep that Job quiet. Everybody's obviously ranting and raving about Job Bellingham because it's Jude Bellingham's brother, and Jude tweets about Job, and then we have to all get on board with Job. It's all, because Job's the man. But yeah, somebody talked to me about Piroe. Do you reckon he will want to put up with that? Because obviously he's in a position where he's getting goals. He's a senior player at the club. Joseph is not getting goals. I can't believe how much stick Joseph's getting online. Wilco White Screw needs surgery. Yeah, it's just come to my attention, dude. Yeah, shite is that. So it's Rothwell and Tanaka, but I think Tanaka's definitely decent, but Rothwell's decent. They just need to get a bit of a partnership going. Andrew Thompson, bam bam boom. Yes. Sunderland have lost 2 games, both recently, I might add. So Watford away, both games they lost were away. Watford away were 2-1. Watford are 8th in league. Watford are a decent enough side, aren't they? And then they lost to Plymouth the other week as well, who aren't very good, to be fair. But they got beat 3-2, so it's obviously a bit of a blockbuster. 18th in league, Plymouth, so it's a poor result on their behalf. He said as well in his interview, did Farky fucker, he said that everybody needs to feel welcome and like the valuable to the squad. Everybody needs to feel like they're needed. But I don't really know if that should be said out loud. Truth be told, you know what I mean? Like if you're saying that, it's like somebody telling you that they love you and they don't, and then it's like, well, no, or you think they do, and then you watch an interview of them. No, let's do it on the love. Let's try find an analogy here. So somebody says, "Oh, I love you," and you're pissed up. Perfect, you're pissed up, and somebody goes, "I'm out, sugar, fucking badger, my mate. I fucking love you, I do. I fucking love you." And then you watch. And then I get a new badger in. I don't have a new badger. We'll get my Cafe Nero cup from earlier. And I say to the Cafe Nero cup that I just tell people that I love them when I'm pissed up, so that I met loads of friends. But me and him are actually friends. Me and the Cafe Nero cup are friends. And then I have to go back to the badger, and he goes, "So now I'm not pissed up." And he goes, "What were you saying to Cafe Nero cup the other day? I watched it." And you go, "Well, no. What do you mean? You're saying, well, you only told me you loved me when..." I says, no, I didn't mean that. I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about everybody that I say that I love when I'm pissed up. Everybody says they love people when they're pissed up. And then you end up in this scenario. So it's not necessarily to be said out loud. It's the worst analogy ever. But the Cafe Nero iced caramel latte understands. And if there's one person that understands, it's definitely the badger. We all know that. That's why we get him in. That's why we get him on. That's why we get him in and on and over here. But yeah, what I am going to try and finish this sentence now. Why has he said that, everybody needs to feel like they're needed and feel like they should get minutes? The second you say that, it's like, am I just getting token minutes here? So when Geldart comes on, they'll be under no illusion anyway that, they're not going to get a great deal of minutes. Geldart must be extremely disheartened. Do you think they worry as well slightly about it all? Because, as a young lad, how old's Geldart now? Honestly, it must be, is he 23-ish or something? What is he going to do? He'd just have to drop down into, he's 22. So he'd obviously just have to drop down into lower leagues. But it's like, you can get lost pretty quick in this world, I do believe. Ming 59, stroke that badger. I'll stroke the casing of the badger, but I won't touch the badger because the badger, or I'll put the arm around and tell him that I love him. But in terms of stroking him, I don't like to touch him. I'll tap him, but I'm not touching him because also if anybody's got headphones on, it'll blow your brains off. Joe Depp says he'll be happy with a draw. That's why I'd have pushed against Norwich for the win. I did think the win were there for the taking, and I don't think we got the bull by the horns. I used to say, what is the phrase? I can't remember. The only bull you should take is by the horns. So, don't take no bullshit. Take the bull by the horns. Only bull you should take is by the horns. And I do think the game were there for the taking, and everybody's saying it's a good point, and I agree that Norwich is a good point. But now we're going into Sunderland, And if we don't pick up something, if we'd have won against Norwich, for instance, the other day, and then we lose against Sunderland, that is nowhere near as much of a crisis as, especially with how we're going. I can't believe how much stick the squad's getting in general. But, you know, if we lose on Friday, tomorrow, the world goes into meltdown, doesn't it, ultimately? Ming59, yeah, I met Bob. Woman, all right, yeah. It's the first time I've ever met Bob Ming. So when you saw him and you were like, oh, we compatriots, I was like, well, you know, I thought Bob was a bloke initially. So Peacocks Whites, I'm going 1-0 Leeds. That's where I'm living. I'd love a 1-0 victory away from home. It'd be a right beast. So shout out to Marcus for the 1-0 prediction. Andy Rowe, Joffrey flatters to deceive. Joseph, dare I say, is headed the same way. That's brutal. I think Geldart's... This is going to sound a bit wild. He hasn't really had an opportunity out wide. I reckon he'd be better out wide in general anyway. I don't think he's going to get anywhere near side, and I don't particularly think he should do either. But my point is, you know, when we're strapped for it, I don't think he's going to work in behind. I think Aronson's, you know, significantly better than Geldart, to be fair. And Aronson, I never thought I'd say that. But, you know, and then when Solomon gets back, he can probably play central. Nonto can play central. But, you know, James is probably the only one that can't play central. Although you maybe... Well, I say that, actually. What am I talking about? Do you remember when James first got here and he were up top? Absolutely relentless. Joe Depp, boring tosser that I am. I was okay with the point against Norwich. I'm all right with that as a point, dude. I just felt like the game had gone a bit sloppy. I felt like they'd actually fallen off the boil a bit, and I felt like it was our chance to strike, and then I didn't think we took the opportunity. Righteous one, from what Sunderland fans say, they've not been playing well. Yeah, well they've you know, they went from flying, didn't they? They had a 100% record. Now they have lost 2 games in, I think, the last 3 or 4. So, and as I say, one were to Watford. And then who are decent, so it's a decent result. Well, not a decent result, sorry. It's an acceptable result. And then one was away to Plymouth, who were shit. So, Neil Davison, hi pal, it's going to be 50-50-50 get. 50-50-50, that's not what he's wrote. It's going to be 150-50, 100s, 50s game tomorrow. Sunderland are playing well. Despite, you know, the person before you just saying that Sunderland are not particularly playing well. Some Sunderland fans have been saying they're top at league, aren't they? So ultimately, you know, you would have to take a point. If we win tomorrow, it's an excellent result, especially with the injuries that we've got. But I don't want to use these as an excuse. I said that about the West Brom game when everybody were happy with the draw at West Brom. It's same with Norwich when it were there for the taking and we didn't go and take it. I just think, you know, we're potentially going to live to regret these decisions. Wilco's Whites, Farke's priority should be winning games, not giving token minutes. Feel sorry for Joffrey. Yeah, so that's kind of my point on saying that, you know, everybody needs to feel like they're important and needed. And I understand for, like, you know, squad cohesion and what have you and all that nonsense. But in terms of token minutes, in fairness, I just don't know why he said it. Because I don't think Joffrey got token minutes the other night. I know you're not suggesting that either, dude. But it's not... Nothing what token minutes. He does these last minute subs anyway, doesn't he? So I just think it's a bit of a daft thing to say. Andy all leads out with yes, caught the badger live. It's a primed and ready. She's a supple little character when she's live. I'm gonna just shift her up for you boys a bit, just so you get a bit more of a rear view action of her. Spin around a bit, maybe move her, get her a bit closer up and in and on me. Righteous one. They got beat by Plymouth. I said they were shite against Derby. Yeah, well, Plymouth are crap. So I don't watch anybody else's games, to be honest. So Ming59, yeah, for a minute thought your mum were called Bob. No, my mum's not called Bob. My mum's called Pamela. She's bloody lovely. Andy Rowe, Amps told his wife he was going to make a bike out of lasagna. She didn't believe him till she rode past her. Now that is some class A shit, as I'm sure we can all agree. Let's put like end poll. Let's see what happens if I end this poll. Does it tell me the results? No, it just bombs my poll out. Oh yeah, it does. So 24 votes, 62% said yes, it was Meslier at fault. 37% said no, it wasn't. I think he probably was at fault. Let's do another poll. Is the badger sexy and he knows it? Yes or no? I should have put his Bob sexy and he knows it. Oh, be interested to see if Schmidt does come back tomorrow. I quite like Friday night games, to be honest. Righteous One is asking Mez to save one penalty too much to ask. I think it is, to be honest, dude. Yeah, I think it's his record's terrible, innit? I think it's like 1 in 20 or something. I can't remember the game. Well, they were in Premier League last time he saved a penalty, I think. What else we got here? Ming59, Mez at fault, but Rodon the fault. I wholeheartedly think it's Rodon's fault. I think that's an absolute wild challenge. I've said it in my video yesterday, but he doesn't go in to try and win. He goes in to try and win the ball, and there's absolutely no need for him to go in and win the ball. He needs to go in with a block 2 yards away from the player. If he's adamant that Sargent's striking the ball at goal, he doesn't need to win it. He needs to block the ball. It's not a tackle to be won. You're asking for it. The reason why I know he goes to win the ball is because when Sargent cuts it back, that's when he dangles his leg in, and there's no excuse for it. That's actually what they get paid for. That's what. And I love Rodon, and I think he's had a bit of a rocky start to this season, but we know that he's got plenty in the tank, and he will be good for us. I still think Struwick's a bit dodgy on ball, but Chicka's got told today I look like Gary Barlow. I'll take that, Jack. I've got to be honest, Chickas, I won't take that. I'd probably get angry about that if I were you, but I can assure you, you're significantly better than Gary Barlow. And don't start with this stuff again that I'm, a batter for a certain team, because that's what happened in last live, and I had to go along with it for long enough. Andy Rowe, do we blame the referees enough? That's the next poll. JLUFC gets up sausages. Hostages. Chris Plum, Gruever's going to need surgery. I don't know if it's been said already. It has indeed, Chris. Yeah, started by, I wasn't sure whether or not he did, but the lovely people of the chat have informed me that he does need surgery, which is absolutely drastic. Ming59, can't believe the other pundits were against you about Rodon. What, on Just Joe of the day? Yeah, they don't like me, do they? That's what it is. Nobody likes me. But, we're in, we're on, we're over here, so it is what it is. I'm only messing about. Well, I don't know if I am messing about or not, to be fair. I don't know if they like me or not. I don't really care. I know Joe don't. Well, I don't know Joe don't like me, actually. Joe might not like me. Andy Rowe. James Toon said Rodon lost 80% of his aerial duels the other day. Fucking hell. Well, that is a mental stat. I also think Rodon gave the referee the penalty to give. He goes in, dangles his leg in. Why, is anybody's guess. And then he throws his hands up and looks at the ref before he's even give it. Madness. And I'm really reluctant to talk about I can't believe Badger's sexy and he knows it. He's only on 73% yes. I thought that'd just steamroll its way to 100%. At least you're a stew. Now I think I know what that means, but I'm gonna use Google because I don't want to having or show an ability to accurately assess situations or people and turn this into one's advantage. Well, if you mean that, Righteous One, I truly do appreciate it. If you don't mean it, how many pens have we conceded this season? I don't know, to be fair. It's been bad, hasn't it? I mean, Bogle, that were on opening day, won it, Ipswich. Then obviously Tuesday, when was second one? Three penalties is dogger, innit? I don't want to talk about the subs, as I say, but I've deemed it apparent and necessary that I think we're going to have to, aren't we? So let's have a talk about the subs. Time, how many pens should we have had? Well, that's another whole thing together, and I spoke about refs, yesterday, but we've got to do more. To JT's point the other day, he was sort of saying that we've got all this possession going forward and we don't create big chances. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I do agree. The reason why I'd agree with that, if we've got all this possession and we are creating chances, I don't want to start blaming refs all the time. The refs are shit. And like I tried to make a joke the other day on Joe's show, and ultimately, if we're blaming the ref, and then people say, oh no, sometimes we have a decent ref. Well, we have a decent ref when we win 3-0 and nobody has anything to say about them. That's the only time anybody'd say, well, but you never go, ref were decent today. So if we win tomorrow 2-0, I'm going to make a point of being like, oh, well, I'll be working tomorrow night after the game, immediately after the game. Where's everybody watching it? I'll be watching it over at Road from where I DJ at in Guys. Is anybody out and about in Guiseley? Meet for a slurry before game. Andy Rowe, did you see Calvin's shot at goal for Ipswich? If it had gone in, you'd have been talking goal for months. I did not. Goal of the month. I did not see that. No, I know they played decent in the other day. Did they get a draw the other day? Joe Depp, not a problem with his subs. Ming 59, banging save. That what from the to save an impact sub, similar to Piroe, Parisley. I don't think Piroe, Parisley should start in games. People are unbelievably. This is how full circle stuff comes round. It's a mad thing to me, but it's come round full circle where Piroe now has to actually start games, and that seems insane to me after how much stick he got. So when he first started last season and he got the majority of his goals quite early on, he must have got 4 in. I don't want to hazard a guess, but definitely 4 or 5 goals in 10 games, I'd say. He got a lot of goals early on, some good, really good, cool finishes. And then he had people started to get a little bit frustrated with him. Also, we were sort of working it out with Rutter and Piroe, weren't we, up top together. We went sort of top front 2, didn't we? This is what I didn't like. Well, actually, truth be told, I don't mind going 2 up top with Bamford and Piroe. My problem with it is we sat in a little bit, so we went into more of like a, whatever they call it, like a mid press. So we were, the trigger's not as far forward. Whereas, I don't know how much Bamford's got in legs, but we'd have been better off just getting at them still and leaving 2 up top. Because if we've got a lot of ball, are you telling me that Parisley can't just go stand like a traditional number 9? Like a traditional number, like when they were 2 up front, Andy Cole and Dwight York style. I don't mean like a 10 and a 9. I mean like both of them were 9s. I know York had come in, and I don't want to talk about Scum, but York could play maybe a bit more of a 10 role, but they were like traditional 9s, weren't they? Not traditional 9s in terms of like Duncan Ferguson traditional, but you get my point. If we've got plenty of the ball, they can both stand up top. It's not, and then when we sat, then it didn't work. Then I felt like it went everywhere. Neil Davison, Joseph is a good player, but not experienced enough yet to play up front on his own. So why didn't we get out and out striker? And well, they're hard to get, these strikers, man. I mean, we've been trying to replace Bamford for so many years now, and we have had a lot of strikers in, and everybody goes, oh no, they're more wingers or whatever. They're not. They're hard to find. These bastards don't grow on trees, unfortunately. Joseph looked mint. Everybody was saying he's awesome to come off at bench and all this stuff, but like he must start. And then now we're here, and now everybody's saying, let's bring Piroe back in. Well, last year we were on about Piroe to not start, get rid of him. Start Joseph, put Rutter in 10, and nobody wanted Piroe anywhere near it. And now people are suggesting that Piroe started the season the same as he did last year, just without starting games. Andy Rowe, Ipswich draw City at the moment. Tam, Joseph hasn't got any confidence. I think he's still putting a shift in, isn't he? And he's still playing well and stuff, and his link-up play looks all right. Everybody keeps banging on about how well he holds up ball, and I think there's a lot to go with there. These centre-backs are big blokes out there. I don't want to sound like Poncerow, but they are like big lads. I'm not going to have it. They're not going to be bullied. So I do respect Bamford for the amount of He does occupy both centre backs, and he can sort of like, he can put it on them, control them a little bit. Ming 59, Piroe, Parisley, hero to villain to hero. It's literally, I mean, that is the Leeds way, innit? Tam, hit the likes, people. Yes, please. It'd be chicken ramen in my belly. Yes, please. It'd be appreciated if you do hit the likes, by the way, boys. It does help significantly. There's 30 people watching, I think. And there's only 20 likes, so there's 10 here that can help a brother out. Leave us a comment as well, because I do appreciate you. Andy Rowe, no, Jack. I mean, keep Piroe on the bench and maybe Aronson or Ramazzini. Then introduces late impact players. Well, we're going to have to start Amazon. Aronson and Ramsini, aren't we, currently, because we don't have anybody in the squad going forward, ultimately. I'll get to that in a minute, Tom, hang on. But yeah, I do honestly think keep Piroe on bench. I think he's going to be good for coming on for the last 10 minutes of each game, really, and trying to nick a goal, especially if we've gone 1-0 up and we're looking to kill game off, and they're a little bit more stretched. Yeah. Righteous one. Joe said he'll host our rap battle, Jack. Did he actually? Joe's a tremendous host. I'll take that. Joe Depp, do you think if Piroe started the whole season he would score 20 plus? If yes, he should start. Joe Depp, that is an excellent question. That is an excellent question, and it's an excellent statement, because it's not, well, it's a question and a statement. It's a question that you've answered. That is an excellent statement. Do you think if Piroe started the whole season he would score 20 plus? So, and if you think yes to that answer, he should start. Well, I've been saying he needs to come off the bench, and ultimately, I actually do think he gets 20 goals if he starts every game. So, among Joe's criteria there, because I think yes, then he does have to start. So, does Piroe, if Piroe starts every game, does he get 20 goals? If so, he has to start. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to make a video about that, Joe. You might not think that's a big thing. I'm sure you're reeling these type of babies off every night, these types of questions, but I think that makes a hell of a lot of sense. Because how can we've brought him in to get goals, and if you're saying he gets 20 goals, which he does seem to look like he would. He didn't start a lot of games last season in the middle of the season when we were sort of like trying to push him out, edge him out. And then, in fairness, Bamford came in and, I know nobody likes Bamford, but did do a decent job for us. He definitely got 20 goals, so, and it's a lot of goals. What leading goal scorer at Championship last year? Let's have a gander here. I can do it like this, actually. Hey up, I've been on the P Diddler. I need to be careful here, actually. Hang on. Oh shit, what have I done? Oh, I've done it again. Would it be 22, 23? Oh, no, is that? No. It must be season before, is it? I can't see this because my fucking laptop's in way though. Yeah, this is season before. But, your man Joe Piroe's in there with 20 goals for Swansea, which I know is why we signed him. That's what everybody was banging on about. But, the top goal scorer got 28, 4 of which are penalties, so he got 24. Piroe, granted, got two pens. So last year... Go on, you dickhead. Smodic got 27. He did get bang some goals in, didn't he? Somerville got 19. So, you know, Armstrong, obviously, Southampton did well. They got 21. Piroe will be on here somewhere. Yeah, he's there. Piroe got 13 goals, 2 penalties. So, you know, with penalties, he'd probably get more. Would he get more than 20 in this side if he's getting chances? I think it's a big shout, that. Vardy got 18 with 4 penalties. You'd have to argue that's a good... Well, it is good. He's in top 5 goal scorers. This is the thing, you know. Joe Piroe's still in the top, you know, he's joint 11th there for top goal scorers. Can anybody see this, boys? Sorry. Oh, shit. Can you not see that? Or can you just see it? I don't want to... Yeah, you can see that. Yeah. Get to these comments. Sorry, boys. Need some baby oil, Jack, says Tam, which I said I was going to address, but funny enough, I've been watching this Diddy thing. Allegations, lawyer details cases and allegations. It's not funny at all, actually. I was going to say it's too funny, but it's kind of funny. Wilco's Whites, totally agree. Just to have Piroe in the box, him and Joseph would up top would work. What? So you'd have Piroe in the 10 there then, and have him hovering around. I just think when we've got a lot of ball, we can't actually afford to have 2 up top. I don't think it really makes a difference. But if they're just willing to sort of like actually sit forward and actually be the 2 up top, you know, in terms of position, because a lot of times Piroe, when he's playing in his 10 role, he then plays the 10 role when we've got all the possession, and it's just like, just get out of the way. If he gets out of the way and goes and just stands up top, like occupying both centre halves, with what would be Joseph, I just think makes more sense rather than him coming in trying to just getting him way, really. I'll play Piroe with Joseph as a front. What do you think, pal? Yeah, so Neil, yeah, so that's what Wilco's. I'm just asking Wilco's White's if that's what he's saying. I won't do that from the offset. I won't be happy with that from the offset, but I definitely would be up for that in the last 10 minutes. That's why I didn't like when he brought Bamford and Piroe on. I thought I'm fine with this as long as they both play up top. But we did, like, as I say, like this half press where we sort of waiting for the trigger to go, and it just does my head in. We were controlling game. They'd sort of fallen off a little bit. I just think just stick with it. Right, just one swear down. I'll have to speak to Joe if that is the case. Andy Rowe, before your day, but you did see Steve Bull on Under the Cosh, fascinating, I thought. No, I didn't, but I will watch that. I don't watch Under the Cosh much, to be fair. Righteous one. Yeah, but it's like Kane scores goals but never wins anything. I don't know about that, though, man. That's pretty harsh. I mean, it's not harsh. I couldn't care less that he don't win all, but I don't think that's the reason why. You know, I think Tottenham are significantly better on the basis. Oh, well, I know he's not there now, but, you know, I think they could do with his 20 or 30 goals. That's a different level. If we had Kane in this league, we'd be all right. Best believe. Neil Davison, yes. 20 for sure, that's why we bought him, isn't it? Yeah, I do think he'd get 20 goals if he started every game. So that's, as I said, my man Joe Depp killing it there. Don Edge, yes, Piroe. Nice to meet you, Don Edge. I've not seen you before. Smodic, yeah. He got a tremendous amount of goals. I still think he won't cut it in Premier League, like, but you know, he did have a banging season of that. There's no doubt. He scored against Man City, didn't he? I don't know how many he's got this year thus far, but right, just one. Remember that track he did with Mace? The hook went bad boy. You make me feel so good. Yeah, Mace is like fucking, what is it now as well? And he's like he's gone into like gospel stuff and that. He's a bit like, you know, which is not wrong with. I just mean in terms of well, you know, why has he done that? Has he got a bit of a checkered history? feed all right, guys? Or is it going a bit wobbly? My computer slowed right down. Fuck's sake. Speak to me, boys. Is the stream still all right? I can make you feel good. Right, that's age well. Andy Rowe, unfortunately, someone Piroe as a RoboCop player made up of Messi, Ronaldo and Maradona components. Everybody does, don't they? It's every player we've ever signed have all come in with like this ridiculous over-egging of the pie. Over-egging of the pie, is it? Over-egging of the pastry or whatever. Just over-egging it. And we never, you know, these players, they are championship players ultimately. It's very rare you get like, you know, I mean, I would even argue sort of, we talked about Somerville a lot last year, like, in particular, he ain't particularly smashing it up in Premier League, so, you know, is he a Premier League player? Is he just an excellent championship player like most are? Joe Depp, in my opinion, it's mad that the system isn't built around Piroe. Oh, fuck off. I'm getting hounded here. Sorry, boys. It's mad that the system isn't built around Piroe. Though Radrazini looks good. Yeah, well, that's the argument with Piroe, isn't it? It's everybody's suggesting that if it is Piroe playing, then it does have to be sort of built around him, like, wholeheartedly. But that's obviously a lot to ask for Farke to just build around. I mean, Peru's not that good to build the whole team around him, but in terms of just sort of sticking him up top, you know, be all right. 4-4-2 and effing hoof it up there, yeah? If in doubt, kick it out, give it a clout. If in doubt, kick it out, give it a fucking clout. Get up there, get it sent up. Ming 59 over-egg the pudding, that's what I was looking for, yeah. Sunderland fans were saying on a podcast they struggled against 5-3-2. Last 10 minutes that's where we'll be at. Do you reckon he will change system with centre mids being out? I doubt it highly. Because he's not going to, I think, as I say, I'll just go to Naka and Rothwell, but I'm losing track here. Andy Rowe, Farke should chance his arm and play one youth player against Sunderland, baptism of fire. He's not going to do that. He won't dare do that. And he really shut down the Charlie Crew stuff in his interview. I think he definitely bottled that. And I don't blame him, I honestly don't. I said it a bit earlier, but these lads, when they're 25-year-old established footballers, 27-year-olds, it's like he's going to start them every day at week over a 19-year-old kid, unless they are absolute world beaters and they're on another level and they warrant being inside, like, undoubtedly, and they're murdering everybody in training. They just won't get anywhere near its side. It's madness. Chickers, have you eaten yet? This is the type of talk I like. I'm having chicken stir fry and a bottle of wine. Also, when you're shaving your neck, got to keep the Crawley clean look going. Yeah, I know. I do. I need everybody, you know. But the thing is, chickers, can I be arsed? And my answer to that is no. And this is actually all right for me, because I can never be arsed. You know, I've got it anyway, and sex appeal. You know, if you've got it, you've got it. You don't need to worry about it. And I have eaten. I've had a shitty little microwavable thing before this because I was in a rush to get back for it. I set it up and then thought, shit, I need to get home like now. I'm going to go live on my JackCity page as well after this. I'm going to be on for another 5 minutes or so, guys. So let's start. Let's begin to wrap this puppy up. Wilco, Neil Davison. I just think with all the possession, we should be scoring more. Yeah, you, a JT fan. No, we need to be scoring more. We need to be more clinical of that. There's no doubt. We need to put teams to bed a bit more. But I do think we create enough chances. I don't think there's many teams create more. I can't be certain, but I'm pretty sure we've created the most chances in the league. So whatever we're doing does work, and we are in a good position. You know, potentially depending on results, we can. If we win tomorrow, we can go top. Although no, we will go. I think. Although I think they got a 2 point. They got a 2-goal better. Are they 2 goals better off? I don't care. But yeah, we can go top tomorrow. Wilco's Whites. I'd like to try play 3-5-2. No, I would want Piroe starting high with Joseph doing all the running. We'll have possession in most games, so we don't need to press. That's kind of what I'm saying, dude. That's what I mean with when we bring them both on up top. Why don't he just go stand literally up top? He doesn't need to worry about coming in this 10 role and trying to play make. Let everybody else do that. You know, just stay up top and be a threat in and around box. JLUFC, anyone agree that we have 0 height up front? Well, Joseph's quite a big lad, isn't he? But do you mean height in terms of sort of presence and stature? Because, you know, he's not... I think he holds the ball up relatively well, but he's not... I actually think... I'm going to say it again, but Bamford's quite mean. He's quite like tough, like, you know, not tough in injury terms because he gets injured far too much, but he does occupy the defenders. They don't like playing with him. You know, he does bother him. He does annoy him. White Swan, nice to meet you, dude. I don't think I've ever seen you comment. The hippo on the wall is ruddy corners. We've got to try something different. You up, mate? No, I'm all for it. Right, just one Diddy lawyers on the phone. I'd love to talk to one of Diddy lawyers. Claire, nice to meet you. I don't know if I've ever seen you comment. If Joseph starts every game and scores 20 and Piroe comes off the bench and scores 20, what does that do for our goal difference? Now, that does open up a can of worms. Because if Joseph's getting 20 goals, which he's not looking likely to now, if we're honest. But that would obviously change everything, and that is just the winning formula. On a serious note, obviously Joseph's only got the 1 goal. We are now 8 games in. I said he needs a run of 10 games with no deflecting from that. Do not pull him out of that side for the first 10 games, regardless of, I said, even of his performance, which I know is a bit wild. People had a go at me for that. But I think if you're going to go with him as the number 9, you can't just get 4 games in and drag him out, especially when we're in a decent position. We are winning games, we're doing well, we're playing well. He's playing relatively well, he's just not getting the goals. But we are chipping in with goals. Will he come good? Will he go into a purple patch? The thing is, in pre-season, he were banging goals in. But Bogle were also flying in pre-season. And then the first few games, I thought Bogle were quite poor. But he has improved the last couple of games. So, interesting. Ming 59. Scum 1 up. Let's hope for another Ten Hag here. Ten Hag's, it's so... I used to, because I love watching Scum get beat, and I used to always want the manager sacked, and I'd be like, oh yeah, let's get rid of manager and all this and that. And then it dawned on me that it's not satisfying, that, because then, you know, you think, oh, it's over. And then, like, I used to like watching Solskjaer's face and stuff. And at the moment, I like watching Ten Hag be like, I like that. And if he goes, it stops that. I have to build a new relationship with this other terrible manager. Andy wrote, at this rate, Leeds will struggle playing against Dusty Bin 3-2-1. I don't know what that means. Sometimes I don't know whether you're trying to play me, Andy. Neil Davison, just bab with everything on it. Have it. Oh, you bastard. You bastard. I might have to get stuck in the kebab, you know. There's a right kebab shop down the road from me. There's a right kebab shop, and I wouldn't normally say that so openly, but there is a right kebab shop, and I do like a chicken kebab, and I know it's not like, you know, doner, because you want the doner, don't you? Do you know doners used to make me hallucinate when I was young? I'm not joking. They used to spaz me out. I used to go to bed and I'd be like absolutely zinging. I'd be like making puzzles up on the roof and that, and I'd be like trying to solve them and that. It's like mental. And honestly, it was kebabs. I don't want to hear it that it was something else. It was the kebabs. Andy Rowe, Fanky's blanket subs. I keep calling him Fanky. Farky's blanket subs never seem to work. Yeah, it did take Sting out of game, them subs the other day. Of that, there's no doubt. Claire says, I think he felt less pressure in friendly, scored for fun. Yeah, and I think you're in a stage there where you sort of like try to prove yourself, where the other team don't really care, really, you know, in the grand scheme of things. It doesn't really matter if you're conceding goals, whereas obviously in the Championship, every goal is absolutely crucial. So, you know, and you're not trying stuff in training. They probably just think, you know, like squads changes a lot. You don't really know the opposition. You just sort of play, and they're not bothered. They're looking to play a certain way. Whereas with this, it's like, right, stop Joseph getting the ball, be really strong on him. It's like much more targeted stuff. So, yeah. Andy Rowe, would another 90 points trophy be a failure for Leeds? No, Andy, because if we get the 90 point trophy again, we're off up, boy. No doubt. JLUFC, Farley TV, on the tube, anyone? Pure genius. If I think I know who Farley TV is, if I'm right in who I think it is, the impression guys. Ming59, Trippy Kebab, honestly, crazy kebabs. They were crazy kebabs. Neil Davison, but God got us up in the second season, so I think Farke will do it for come on the white. I agree, man. He'd have taken us up last year with Farke if it had it not been an abnormally mental season. JL, all the mushrooms on that kebab, gets up. It had everything on it, and I woofed it down. And I thought it can't be the kebab. And then the next weekend I had another one, and I went again. Ed went again, and I were only like 16, 17, and Ed went puzzles and lot. Agent Rafa, yeah, it is that Farley TV. Yeah, it's piss funny, that stuff. Yeah, to be fair, righteous one, yeah, probably was food poisoning, but 2 weeks on bounce. I've never had the strongest stomach, in fairness. I ate at fucking bar and grill in centre of Leeds when England were on, and oh my God, I had like all this seafood and that, and I were eating like a dog, honestly. There were a deal on, I got everything 50%, so I went bonkers for it. I was slamming it in, I had a few pints with it, 50% on everything, pints, fish starter. I had this massive Sunday dinner afterwards. I got 2 Sundays, so I got chicken separate, chicken dinner, and then a beef dinner, and then I combined the two because the veg came when they give the veg out and there's like a few of you sat around the table. Frustrates me that. I don't like that. So I thought if I order an extra meal, I'll have my own veg to go at. I did that. I rung my mum about 2 in the morning, so I thought, this is it. I'm done. I've died. I'm going to die. And I know that seems dramatic, but I signed out. And I don't know if anybody remembers on the videos, because I went quiet for a few days. My lord, bad scenario. Ming59, he addressed a kebab shop. I don't know if I can tell you. If it was one in centre of Leeds, I'd just, but I know these lads, and they're such nice lads that I just cannot tell you who they are. Good to see you, Peacock Whites. I appreciate it. I'm going to head off as well, guys. So Andy Rowe said, mad cow's disease, Jack. Trust me, I'm a doctor. Bob's your auntie, quite literally. Fanny's something rude. Right, guys. Much love. No, I'll just end this poll, actually. I can't remember what it was. Is this the 20 goals a season? This must be the 20 goals a season jobby, is it? I'm going to drop in. I'm going to do a video about 12:30 tomorrow, but it'll just be pre-recorded. Well, not pre-recorded. I'll record it and then upload it like I normally do. But yeah, I'm going to try to do this every Thursday. I appreciate everybody that tuned in, genuinely. I do appreciate you. 22 votes. 77% said yes. Piroe starts every game and gets 20 goals. That will be noted. My man Joe Depp. Right, I'm getting off, guys. Much appreciated. I will speak to you all soon. In a bit.